Welcome to the Cross in the Desert, speaking hope and freedom to Iran. I'm your host, Randy L. Noble. I'm a Christian author and a human rights activist. About 2 years ago, I wrote this book called The Cross in the Desert, Speaking Hope and Freedom to Iran. It contains many of my blogs, but also some very intense personal stories written by my dear friends in Iran, stories of their struggles for freedom. Tonight I want to talk to you once again about the subject of freedom. We're in a very intense, hotly debated election year, and it looks like the Republican nominee will of course be Donald Trump, and the Democratic nominee will be of course Hillary Rodham Clinton. Now, if by some miracle she were to be elected president, it would be historic. She would be the first woman president of the United States. But I want you to take a very close look at this picture. We're all very familiar with Hillary Rodham Clinton and her claim to be the champion, the voice of women's rights. We hear the term war on women all of the time in political circles, especially during an election year. 4 years ago, when Romney was running for president against Barack Obama, once again the liberals stood up and accused Republicans of oppressing women, being instead of being pro-choice, they're of course pro-life, and the liberals would say to Republicans, you're so trying to oppress us, trying to deny our reproductive rights, our morning after pills, and they accused Republicans, of course, of suppressing them, oppressing them, and waging a war on them, thus the term, the war on women. Well, I'm convinced there is a war on women, but it takes place not here in the United States, but in the Middle East. The real war against women, the violence, the honor killing, the stonings, the reprehensible acid attacks, there is a real war on women, and it goes on every day in the Middle East. I know, because I have many friends in Iran that talk about this every day. Hillary Rodham Clinton, of course, is going through a very difficult time right now. She's being investigated by the FBI because of having an illegal private server and putting at risk many documents as Secretary of State that could really hurt our security. She's also been accused of the death of those in Benghazi, the Navy SEALs, and of course, the diplomat we had, the ambassador Christopher Stevens. Hillary Rodham Clinton also is involved in quite another scandal with the Clinton Foundation, and she has been accused of taking excessive money and funds from countries like Saudi Arabia that oppress women. Thus, it's a real contradiction for her to be claiming to be the voice of women's rights when her foundation, with her husband, former President Bill Clinton, accepted money from Saudis, and Saudis oppress women. They forbid them to drive, they hang them, they stone them. It's a horrible scenario, and yet here we go with a woman that wants to be the President of the United States, and instead of being a champion for women's rights, and she's doing the actual opposite. Her voice is going silent for the real war on women in the Middle East. So I have a question tonight I want to ask you, and I would ask Hillary, if I had an opportunity to talk with her one-on-one, I would ask Hillary this question. Hillary, where is your voice for these women? I want you to take a look at this picture. These are women victims of honor killing and also acid attacks that took place 2 years ago in Esfahan, Iran. Hillary, where is the voice for these women? I want you to take a look at this next picture. And this woman was brutally beaten by her Muslim husband because he thought she was having an adulterous affair. And this is the way women are treated as taught by the Quran. And I would ask again, Hillary, where is your voice? This is a sign being wielded at a demonstration. Women hang in Islamic Iran. I know very well. I recently offered a book called Rahane, A Beautiful Fragrance, the story of Rahane Jabari, a young Iranian woman who at 19 years of age defended herself against a government rapist. She stabbed him to survive. And instead of being exonerated as the victim of rape, she was hanged 7 years later. Hillary, where is your voice for these women? These are Iranian women who must adhere to the Islamic dress code. If they show too much skin or hair, they can be arrested, fined, and publicly flogged. Hillary, where is your voice for these oppressed Iranian women who have no freedom? This is a question I want to ask Hillary Clinton. Hillary, where is your voice for these oppressed women in Iran? I want to also share with you a story that my dear friend Adafi told me about 2 years ago. Nowruz, the Persian New Year, was about 2 weeks away. And Iranians spend a lot of time shopping for new clothes during Nowruz, the Persian New Year. And my friend Adafi said, Randy, she was chatting with me, you just can't believe how insane these morality police here are in Iran. And she told me the story of walking into a clothing store to buy clothes in preparation for Nowruz. And she saw the police there. And the police was talking to the store owner, a woman. And the woman was just really upset. And they were talking to her face to face, shouting, screaming. And the reason why they were confronting the store owner was because the hijabs were not applied to the mannequins in the window. In the fashion store, you have mannequins that stand in the window modeling clothes all day. And you know what I mean. Here's a picture of mannequins. So this clothing store owner was about to be arrested because she failed to conform with the Islamic dress code. Why? Because there were no hijabs on the mannequins in the window. Well, help me out here. We all know that in Iran, since the 1979 revolution, women cannot go out publicly without being veiled with a hijab. And if there's particles of skin showing, or too much hair showing, or lipstick or makeup, the Gasti or Shad, the morality police, stops them in the street. And they will get arrested, or fined, or written up, and disciplined for not being dressed like a good Muslim woman. But help me out here. Isn't there a difference between human beings and lifeless plastic forms, that is, mannequins? I hope so. But think about it. In Iran, the morality police would like every Iranian to be like a mannequin that doesn't speak, doesn't complain, doesn't argue or protest, but wears what is put on them. And like a mannequin, stand giving that image all day. It's so sad. God did not create us to be mannequins or puppets. He created us to be bearers of His holy image, to reflect His love, to be living, breathing human beings with a purpose, and to be creative, and to make a difference in this world. But in Iran, the Iranian morality police wants them, that is women, to be like these mannequins in the store window, just wearing what they're told and not being able to protest or speak up. Lifeless forms of plastic. That's what false religion does. It reduces you and me to lifeless forms of plastic, who can't complain, who can't speak up, who have no feeling or emotions, but wears what they're told to wear without complaint. This is the real war on women. And I would ask this question, Hillary, where is your voice for all of these women? If she is the true champion for the rights of women, where is her voice? Think about it. Think about it before you cast your vote this election year. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Cross in the Desert. God bless you, and I will see you on the next program.